Hello everybody, it is Steve, your friendly neighborhood lawn gnome. Welcome back to another episode of Stats, Trends, and Picks over here on That's Comical. And if you're watching and it happens to be a Wednesday, happy new comic book day. Well, it's definitely a good day. It was definitely a good month in the world of comics for May 2024, especially with Free Comic Book Day that happened on the first Saturday of the month. I had such a great time. I actually got to go to my local comic book store with my almost 2-year-old daughter at the time. She actually turned 2 the following week. So it was just so great to bring her. The people who run my shop have seen her many times, and they're so excited when she comes because she's so much different than the last time that they saw her. Of course, my favorite thing about the guy who runs the store is he asks me all the time, can my daughter say Batman yet? I'm pretty sure that if I taught her to do so at this point, she would. But it was also great because it was Star Wars Day. She wore a little Star Wars shirt, which was really, really cute, and she was also very well behaved. There was a point where she was in the back of the store just running around the shelves in circles, but she wasn't touching anything and she wasn't causing anyone to have any issues or difficulties. But of course, I was told to keep her under control. She was just letting off some steam, and rightfully so. She does like to let a lot of energy go. So let's forget about all that. Let's get into the comics. So yes, the comic book world is definitely a interesting and exciting place right now. I am glad to say that my prediction is definitely coming true in regards to what is the better company right now that is giving us all the best books. It was a average month for May, 48 books. And once again, Image is in the top spot. Believe me, with the Energon universe and the Mad Ghost universe and some of the other things that are going on in the world of Image, it is such an exciting time to read indie books right now. But I am going to also say I was quite surprised with how well Marvel and DC did as well. And I'm not even reading Marvel's Blood Hunt, but I am reading the end of the Krakoa Age. I just finished The Rise of the Powers of 10, which means we only have one more book left in the Krakoa era, and I'm just not going to be reading any more X-Men comics after that. I'll go and read some back issues and all of that stuff, but that's where I stand right now. And I am just excited for DC in regards to Absolute Power. I read the Free Comic Book Day book, and it was really, really good. And as I also predicted, the indie books are slowly creeping up. We got an additional one this month as opposed to last month, and knowing what is in store in the world of the indie conglomerates, whether it's Dark Horse, whether it's Dynamite, whether it's Boom Studios, there's some good stuff coming, guys, and I'm all here for it. So when we take a look at the percentages, look at this. Over 35% went to Image Comics in regards to my purchasing statistics. That is pretty crazy. Even though Marvel and DC are not too far behind, the indie books also slowly creeping up. And the graph, still a little bit stagnant, but except for one, and that of course is Image. It is slowly getting higher and higher and higher. So excited. And the only thing that's not excited right now is my wallet. It is a little bit scared because of when I take a look at my list and all the books that I'm going to be buying in June, July, August, and even September. It's going to be a very expensive summer, guys, but hopefully for good reason. So, how did we fare in regards to my predictions for the month of May of 2024? Well, it was a 5 new comic book day month in the month of May of 2024. So, I didn't do too terribly. I think I pretty much had a nice little balance. So, we'll start off with the first week of May. I thought that it was going to go over to Boom Studios and Ghost Lore issue number 10. We are getting to the end, everybody. Cullen Bunn has done an excellent job. Not that many people are talking about this book, but I always do. But it wasn't my top. As a matter of fact, I got a very, very big surprise from a brand new book. And that was over at Dynamite Comics. I gotta say, I haven't seen Dynamite as a top book on my lists in a while. I don't even know if it's ever actually happened. But I gave it to David Pepos' Space Ghost, issue number 1. And this was such a surprise. It was full of action, full of drama, full of mystery. I absolutely loved this book. And this is the second of the Dynamite books that I am picking up that is based on nostalgic franchises. There are some that are coming this summer that I'm very excited about, and we'll talk about those as those days slowly approach. So, I gotta be honest, I know David Pepos hasn't really had the best credit to his name lately, but I gotta admit, this was a very, very entertaining book, and I am so excited for the second issue. For the second week of May, I was not surprised. I gave it to the 6th and final issue of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees by Patrick Hovarth over at IDW. This was a fantastic read. It is still my favorite read of 2024. I don't know what the future holds for this franchise, but I would definitely like to see more of Patrick Hovarth's work because he's still relatively new. After reading this series, I'm really hoping for something different, maybe more Beneath the Trees if he chooses to, but even if we never get another book from this franchise, I think it was perfect just the way it was. But I still have to say, the trade is coming out in September, guys. If you haven't read this book, you gotta. It's so interesting and entertaining. So for the third week of May, I predicted correctly once again, and I gave it to the second issue of Uncanny Valley over at Boom Studios by Tony Fleecs. I knew it was going to be my top pick of the week because I loved the first issue so dearly, and this book does not disappoint. It really is. To Roger Rabbit fans, to classic Warner Brothers Looney Tunes fans, this is a book for you. I absolutely love it, and I'm just so excited for what's happening in the next 4 issues because every issue leaves me on such an exciting cliffhanger. I just cannot wait to read more. For the 4th week of May of 2024, I thought it was going to go to a new book by Joe Casey over at Image Comics called Blood Squad 7. It is supposed to be a nostalgic trip into the world of early 90s Image. Obviously, when you take a look at the book and you take a look at the script of the title, it looks very Youngblood. As a matter of fact, I found out that I missed a 3-issue miniseries called Dutch, which is actually an actual Image Comics character from early Image, and that this was supposed to lead right into Blood Squad 7, so I think I need to get my hands on Dutch just to check it out. But I was expecting something really exciting. I'm not going to say that I was disappointed, but I definitely am going to say this is not what I expected. It was a very dialogue-heavy book. There was a little bit of action. The artwork was pretty good, but I'm just going to say that this is a starting point. It's leading to something, I hope, because Joe Casey's a good writer, and I would very much like to see where this story goes, so I am going to give it to at least the first story arc's end to see if I like it or not. But I did actually end up giving that week to the 3rd issue of Feral over at Image Comics by Tony Fleecs. So that's 2 top books by Tony Fleecs in the month of May of 2024. That's pretty awesome. Feral has been one of my favorite reads of 2024, and this 3rd issue was so much fun. There were some really amazing pieces of Tris Forstner's artwork in this book, specifically how she drew the rabid foxes. It was so creepy, but this book is just exciting at every turn. Cannot wait to see where the rest of this arc goes, and I'm also very excited to discuss this on the channel with Cami and April, God willing. So for the last week of May of 2024, I gave it to the final issue of Avengers Twilight from Marvel Comics. That's issue number 6, and that, of course, is by Chip Zdarsky. So I know that Chip Zdarsky isn't really getting the greatest of graces, especially with what he has been doing with Batman lately, but I am reading Batman, especially because it's leading into Absolute Power. But I loved Avengers Twilight. I thought that this was a fantastic read from beginning to end, very much Marvel's take on Kingdom Come. I'm going to say that right now. It really felt like Kingdom Come from Marvel. And of course, when you get the Alex Ross covers, it only reminds you of something like Kingdom Come that he did back in 1996 with Mark Waid. But each issue was a roller coaster. I loved the character development on all of the well-known characters. I loved how it felt new, but it felt nostalgic all at the same time. And when you read a book like this, Chip Zdarsky is definitely not out for the count. There's plenty more fuel in his tank. Maybe when he gets off Batman, he's going to end up doing some really great stuff, because I do love his indie work. I thought Stillwater was a great read. But yes, Avengers Twilight, definitely a great read. One of my favorites of 2024 as well. So that is pretty much where we were with May. So what are we going to be looking at in regards to top picks in June? Well, June is a very interesting month because there's a lot of interesting things and very iconic moments taking place. We are obviously seeing the end of the Krakoa era with X-Men 35. I am not anticipating this to be one of my top picks. We are also looking to a brand new addition in the world of the Marvel Ultimate Universe, the new group. We've got the Ultimates coming out this month. I have been very much enjoying the Ultimate Universe, and I'm really hoping that this momentum continues on, because I thought I was down and out for Ultimate Black Panther, but the last issue by Brian Hill, phenomenal. Loved it. And the Ultimate X-Men and Spider-Man this month were great too. But along with those, we also have the second issue of Space Ghost coming, so I don't know if that's going to be taking the top spot again. It would be pretty cool if it did. But for the first week of June of 2024, I am going to be giving it over at IDW to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Alpha, and that is written by none other than Jason Aaron. Jason Aaron might be heading into a renaissance. Based on what I've heard, Batman Off-World is a great miniseries, but the fact that he was tapped by IDW to write the brand new chapter of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise, I'm going to check it out. And then we've got the ongoing series coming. The first 4 issues are going to have 4 different artists, so who knows? But I am excited, I am hyped. It's the 40th anniversary of Ninja Turtles as well. Hopefully we will get a great Ninja Turtles read, and hopefully we will get some more great stuff over here at IDW from Jason Aaron. For the second week of June, I'm very happy to know that this has happened frequently in 2024. I'm going to predict another tie, because we've got 2 amazing books coming out in that week. Not only do we have the second issue of Dick Tracy over at Mad Cave Studios coming out, loved the first issue, but last month we had the start of a Skottie Young miniseries over at Image Comics called Ain't No Grave, and I thought the first issue was great. It didn't hit the top spot, but it came pretty close. So that's why I think the momentum might be there for the second issue. So will these 2 both end up being my top spot? I don't know, but we will find out. For the third week of June of 2024, come on, guys. I would love to see another book just show up at the top spot as its issues keep coming out that had happened before with Twig, and I'm really hoping it happens with Uncanny Valley number 3 over at Boom Studios by Tony Fleecs. The first 2 issues have been phenomenal, guys. This is the real deal. The third issue from the cover alone, the covers on all of these issues alone just get me excited. So that brings us to the very end of June, and what could it possibly be? Could it possibly be Mark Waid and Dan Mora's Absolute Power Ground Zero, the one-shot that leads into the summer event over at DC? Will it be Cullen Bunn's Gatchaman issue number 1 over at Mad Cave Studios? I read issue number 0, which was the free comic book day book, and I loved it too. Or could it possibly be the newest offering from Neil Gaiman over at Dark Horse Comics, Anansi Boys? They could be, but I have been patiently waiting for this book to return. We got the announcement from Image Comics that James Tynion IV's classic book now, yes, I call it a classic, after waiting patiently, we have the start of the newest story arc of Image Comics, The Department of Truth, issue number 23. Words cannot describe how excited I am for Department of Truth to come back, guys. I also know that my friend over here, Cammy, is even more excited because we're going to be talking about the 3rd and 4th story arcs. We have been waiting to talk about the Department of Truth again. So the fact that this ongoing series is finally back after its extremely long hiatus, I am anticipating this to be my top pick for the last week of June of 2024. Will that be the case? I don't know. But in the meantime, that's going to wrap up another episode of Stats, Trends, and Picks, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below. Let me know what some of your favorite picks of May of 2024 were. Let me know if I forgot anything. Let me know how your free comic book day went. Let me know which books you got. So in the meantime, everybody, I will see you in the next one.